John here. We're going to go for a ride on the 25 KTM Enduro R. So far, I'm really liking the bike. I've put roughly 40 miles on it. Mainly highway and gravel roads. Haven't had time to hit the trails yet, but like and subscribe, I definitely will. You can see clouds are moving in here. Oregon is moving into its rainy season, and anyway, today I think it was a work day, so I'm just thought I'd pop on the bike and go out, hit some gravel roads and a little pavement, and talk about those characteristics today. So today we'll talk about, I guess, on-road and gravel road manners. Haven't done anything to the bike. It's all stock. I guess I just put these little things in, swing arm spools, so I could, service the bike when the time comes ready, when the time's ready. But so far, I'm really liking the bike. But fueling sounds like it's better than with the Adventure R, because this is a late 25 model. We're almost 26, at least when this is being filmed. And I find the fueling and off-road mode I like. In the street mode, the fueling seems to be a little softer, not as much torque. But the fueling and off-road mode, I'm pretty happy with the torque off throttle. It seems to, the mapping seems to be a little better. So I know Ethan was talking about the Adventure 390 Adventure R, and that fueling wasn't quite as good, and he liked the Enduro R fueling. And I'm liking the fueling of this bike, but to be fair, I have not ridden the Adventure R, so I can't make a fair comparison. So enough talking about it. Let's go for a ride. I should mention I did install the quick shifter on this bike. To me, when I had a 690 Enduro R, I really liked the quick shifter on that machine, so I had to enable that, and you do have to pay for that. It seems like it's around $250 to $300 and some for that, is what my experience has been. But all right, enough of me talking. Let's go for a ride. But it's just a nice looking bike. I really have to admit I like the looks. And let's start the bike. See, the screen starts right up. I like the exhaust. It's kind of quiet, which with this kind of bike, I'm happy to have quiet. Where it tells you if you're in off-road or on-road mode, it shows me that my engine is cool. Neutral, tack, and I can put it to street mode just by using this joystick over here. So I come over here and go to ride mode. I can go to toggle, go to street, check that, and now we're in street mode. So actually really easy to use. The clutch feels good. Now, see off idle, see how soft that throttle response is. And when I go back in and put it into off-road mode, you can see right here. Okay. Now, see how much I barely move the throttle and it's more responsive. So I like riding it in off-road mode. So I'm going to leave it in that. It'll kill the ABS to the rear when you have it in off-road mode, but I'm okay with that. Okay, well, let's go. Very easy to control at low speeds. I don't have any problem modulating the throttle. It's really smooth. I like the upright ergonomic position. This has 3 different positions: middle, far away, and close. This is in the middle position, and I have short arms, so I'll probably move it into the closer position when I have a moment to do that. But I have short T-Rex arms. But yeah, it's not herky-jerky at low speeds, and feels very stable. This reminds me a lot of the 690R Enduro R for how stable it is. I have a feeling that there's a lot of chassis parts that are shared, because it just feels stable on pavement and gravel. I mean, it actually would make a really good street bike, and gravel bike too, on gravel roads. And the weight, we'll see how it does on trails on a future video. I'll definitely do that. And the motor's still warming up, so I'm going to warm up the engine some more, which is another really cool point. You can toggle into info. I love having all this. Sometimes you have to get a different computer to do this, but look, I've got coolant temperature 175, oil temp 105, which is really the important one. You don't want to scream on your bike till the oil temp is up, and it's got battery voltage. So I'm going to leave it there for a while, and you can see it's blue, so it shows the motor's cold. So it's a very simple screen, but I really like it. So, I mean, look at that. And when that's warm, it'll show green on the temperature here of this motor. And these, of course, are changing, but I think it's really neat. So, anyway, all that being said is I'm going to warm the bike up a little bit, and then I'll tune back in. Here, and this is loose gravel, and the bike is holding a nice track, very straight. And that's what I remember about my Enduro R is, man, that thing was amazing on a gravel road or pavement. It just felt like a supermoto. It felt like I wanted to drive fast all the time. So with this bike, I kind of feel that way, and I am surprised by the power. Oh, okay, so 149 degrees oil temp and 181 coolant temp, 181 degrees, and now you see it's green. So I don't know, maybe I'm easily amused, but I've never had a bike that gave me so much information at this price point that was just out of the box. There it is. Okay, so very predictable. Okay, here we are at 60 on gravel, and I feel really good. I feel super comfortable with this. Bike track's really nice. Brakes feel excellent. I do like these Vibri brakes, subsidiary of Brembo. I like these. They're sensitive. They modulate well. They're plenty powerful. Really good brakes. And there's the quick shifter. Awesome. It works so good. Get you up to 50, 60 miles an hour on gravel. And this is super loose, just has been re-graveled or graded, and super loose, and the bike is tracking straight, going about 50 to 55 miles per hour, 6th gear, and there's plenty of power. I was worried the 390 wouldn't have enough power, but I guess 44 horsepower is plenty. I like where the blinkers and everything are situated, and I do like the overall upright ergonomics of the bike. Clutch feels good, and I do like the off-road mapping for this bike. I don't like the on-road mapping at all. It's very soft off idle. Yeah, it just tracks a nice straight line, even though this is super loose and the bike isn't squirreling around. This reminds me of how a bike feels with the steering stabilizer. It feels really good. Temps are staying low. I have noticed this bike runs a little warmer than some of my other bikes. It doesn't get too hot, but it does get up to around 200 degrees and likes to hang out there. Although this is a cool day. We're about at 60 degrees today, but I still notice sometimes those temps get up there a little bit. I can see on like trails this bike would really start cooking. I mean, the fan kicks on and it's able to control those temperatures, but it does run warmer than like my Honda 300L. And it's making more horsepower, so I mean, it makes sense that it would run a little warmer. So coming into a corner, feels good. I don't feel the traction control intervening. It's a non-adjustable traction control, but it lets me spin the back tire, but not uncontrollably. I mean, this bike really punches above its weight for the price point. Motor supplies a lot of horsepower. Let's try just a 0 to 60 run using the quick shifter. Geez, we're at like 50. There's 60. I mean, that is fast. That is quick. impressive. And that's in the off-road mode fuel map. I do like that map. The street one is a little soft right off throttle. I do find it easy to speed on this bike because it is so quick. When you come out of a corner, it tips in nice, it feels really stable. Yeah, excellent. Oh, here comes the rain. You know, there's no wind protection, which I don't mind for the kind of riding I do. It kind of depends on the kind of riding you do for, you know, if you want a windshield or not. Like, so you're loading the rear suspension on an uphill climb under acceleration, and if the rear shock is having trouble, this will really make it obvious. Okay, yep, there, yeah. So I was seated there, and I was getting a little pogo stick action for sure. But plenty of power to, man, still pulling up a hill. And if I go faster over it, maybe a little better, because I'm skipping on the tops of the washboard. Yeah, that's better. But you kind of have to throttle through that washboard, which isn't fun. Yeah, I mean, long term, just to control that rear shock, I could see having to do something to help that. It does have torque. It just has to have the right map, like that off-road map. I mean, look, at 4,000 RPM, I can pull out of that corner. Even at 3,500, see, here's 3,500. Let's see what we do. Yeah, it pulls out, but if I grab another gear, then it really rips. Okay, more washboard. Oh, yeah. Oh, look at that back end. Can you see that? Here. Look, watch the back end. Oh, it's hard for me to do that without wrecking. But yeah, it just bounces around back there. I think it's a dampening issue. Oh, yeah, it just starts chattering, might be the word, kind of catching traction and jumping and catching and jumping. And honestly, it's the same thing the Honda 300L did with my body weight on the stock shock. But mine's a 2024 model. The 2025 model, they changed the dampening in the rear shock, so my friend just bought one. And like and subscribe, I'll be sure to you know, cover that bike. I'll get a hold. He said I could borrow it for a little bit, and I'd really like to check that, because I remember what it was like stock in the 24. It was like this. And brakes. I mean, these Crews, it's interesting. I did not like these on the 890, but I like them on the 390. So I don't know. Somebody smarter than me would have to explain why that is, but that's just what I find. Oh man, I really want to get this on the trails. I might have to drive up there today. I just might. I don't know. Yeah, this feels really good. Brakes, tires, overall positioning. I really like the ergonomics of this bike. This might be one of the first bikes I don't put a bar riser on. I always raise the bars at maybe a 1/4 inch or something, and I might move these back, but I don't have any plans to raise them. Huh, yeah. Good, see, good torque, even at 3,000 RPM. I'm peeling out with the back wheel. But that's in the off-road map. I wanted to show you guys the shock here real quick. See where this is offset here with the swing arm? It's actually pretty cool, and that would be really easy to slip out of there. Yeah, it is It is just a good looking bike. I really like it. Revised spring on the side stand. I have not got the side stand error yet. I did have to zip tie this foot peg up so it wouldn't flop down every time I put down the kickstand, but that was easy enough. I mean, I like the screen. I mean, look at that. I mean, side stand down. You can exit out of that, or you can put the side stand up. I mean, I'm liking it. I'm lugging this bike around on 4th gear at 2,500 RPM. I mean, and it's doing it. It doesn't enjoy it, but it can do it. And even at 3.5, it's good. I think they did something on the Enduro R to change the mapping on that off-road mode. But I know Dork in the Road and a few other people have talked about they couldn't keep the bike because of the mapping, the lack of torque, and I agree with him in that street mode. But in this off-road mode, I do think this bike is a keeper, but the rear shock will need to be addressed. At moderate speeds, this feels fine. The rear shock is just when I was hitting some washboard, as I'm picking up speed uphill. So like on this gravel road, the rear shock feels adequate. So I think if you're going, moderate speeds and hitting anything but a series of washboard bumps, it seems like this rear shock does pretty well. So like on this terrain right now, pretty normal gravel road, I'm really not disappointed with the rear shock. It wouldn't be something that you'd have to replace right away. And another thing to consider is my inflation pressures are really high at 28, so that's not helping me. It's not helping the shock either. I must love you guys because I decided to ride in the rain up to a trail to try this out on a trail when it's going to be muddy, sloppy. Trying a new bike out on a muddy terrain isn't always the smartest thing in the world to do, so here's a trail. Let's try it. Oh boy, it's definitely slick up here. Oh man, feeling the weight a little bit. Oh jeez. Oh man, this is washboarded. Woo, this is really washed out. Okay. Well, I have not felt the weight to this bike until I started to go up this trail, and then all of a sudden I'm like, whoa, this thing feels heavy. And the crew tires at 28 pounds are not what I should have up here. So, with that being said, I did get up a pretty steep uphill. So this is where I like my 300. Two-stroke, I could just get up that, but all of a sudden with the combination of these tires not gripping and this being wet and muddy, it got sketchy real fast. Maybe, and this is kind of clay. Okay, maybe I'm debating on if I try it again with more speed and stupidity, or if this is showing me this is not, this is a dual sport bike. Even though the name is Enduro R, this is where it's showing itself that all of a sudden I felt the weight for the first time. And this is a pretty good rock shelf here. I'm not convinced I'm going to get this bike pointed the right way before I can't keep it from falling. Oh man, it's slick. Oh, it's slick. So these are definitely not gummy tires that I'm used to. It is slick. I'm trying to get both tires on the same side of this log. Okay, there we go. Oh, it's slick. All right, well, maybe we try a different trail, or I could try that again. The stupid part of my brain is saying, try it again. Yeah, these tires, it is slick too. Okay, let's just get a little more speed and stupidity. Oh man, it's just slick. Oh man, I just can't. Woo, it's just too slick. Okay, well, This is where you feel the weight. It's hard to tell, but this is uphill and steep. Once the bike stops and I'm trying to get off the bike even and maneuver it around and this technical stuff, that's when you feel the weight. So for what it's worth, this is definitely a dual sport bike. I would not call it a enduro bike, because this, trying to maneuver this bike around when slick, you know, sideways conditions is hard. Roll forward and back, and clutch out and roll forward. I'm just kind of walking this front end around to get it pointed back down the hill. The only tricky thing will be getting back on the bike once I start going down the hill. Let's go back down. Well, that surprised me. I thought I would get up that. And lowering air pressure down, different tires. I'm not just trying to make excuses. I think I could. But yeah, I gave it 2 goes, and I can always get up that on my smaller bikes. So, okay, well let's try another trail. We're not going to give up that easy. Reasonably familiar with up at Elk Flats, so let's see how we feel on something, anything, but something with a steep start to it. Okay, feeling pretty confident in here. Second gear. Man, the Crew tires, I definitely do feel they're more slippery and this kind of stuff than what I'm used to riding, like traditional knobbies. So now I'm starting to notice the Crew 4s. A little downhill here. No, they're feeling good. I'm getting grip, and it's wet. It's wet dirt, not thick mud, but some mud. Brakes feel good. Chassis still feels good. Kind of downhill, weaving through some things, some corners. So I'm feeling the weight on off-road here. Here's some root drops. I'm gonna keep the bike rolling. Oh, I feel the rear shock doing some odd things. Okay, so I'm feeling the weight of the bike for the first time, like when I slowed down before. So you don't feel the weight of this bike until it starts getting technical and you slow down. So like here, rolling through here, feeling pretty good. You know, 8, 9, 10 miles per hour. But if I start going slow, suddenly I feel the weight of the bike. Yeah, I definitely couldn't ride up here all day on just trails only. I'd be tired. Okay. Little log to go over here. Let's see what feels pretty good. Okay, good. Got over that. With proper knobbies, some Tusk D Sports or something, that would be better because I'm slipping all over. Rear shock is blowing through the stroke on some of the root drops. Okay. And then you can quick shift her out. Yeah, I mean, it's funny. I'm kind of surprised because I didn't feel the weight of the bike until I got up here. So that really surprises me. And it is wet today and it is slick. So I mean, if I'd come up here in the summer when it's dry, this would have been that first hill. I would have got up that first hill climb. But even with speed, I couldn't get up it. Not without risking life and limb, which I got to go to work tomorrow, and it's pretty up here, and I can't like get hurt that bad. So, pavement, it gets a big green light. Gravel roads, a green light. Just that rear shock might need some attention if you're going to go faster over washboard. And on the trails, mild to moderate, green light. But if it gets technical, oh man, this is not the tool. But being a dual sport, we would expect that, right? So I wouldn't hold that against this bike with the weight and everything. And that's, as much as I love my 690 Enduro R, that's why I actually ended up getting rid of it, is When I was up here on trails, it was my smallest bike, so I was trying to do trails with it all the time, and that was difficult. That was difficult, and I did it, but oh man, a few times I dropped it in the creek, and oh boy. And this bike, I could tell if I did a lot of trails with it, it would get tiring. But mild to moderate difficulty, no problem. And I'm taking this up here at the worst time as far as these trails, the roots and rocks and everything. It gets really technical quick when it's slippery like that. I mean, here's that trail, the first trail I tried to do. I mean, you can just see it's just a muddy hill climb. If it weren't muddy, I could have maintained enough momentum to get up it, but with these tires on, stock tires on a muddy day, or a rainy, wet day, it wasn't going to happen. I can't help but wonder how this bike would do with some golden tires, or like a decent knobby tire on that hill climb like right now. or even just lowering the air pressure. But that's the thing about dual sports, is they're all compromises. I mean, this is striking for the middle, and it did everything I wanted to do today really well. Just all but really the most technical. And here I am driving home. It's getting dark. And I'm still comfortable. The headlight's good. I like this LED headlight. I think it got treatment from the 690 Enduro R. I'm pretty sure. I think I recognize that headlight in the mask. I mean, this bike feels very composed, getting me to and from the trails, and it was very comfortable. So, and in this riding area, to be fair, there aren't really many easier trails. Most of it is fairly technical, especially when it's wet and sloppy like this. Bike's feeling good on this choppy rock washboard. I'm standing up, going downhill, and front forks feel good, even with that 28 pounds of air in the front tire. I'm impressed with the front forks. If I had a minor complaint, it'd be nice to just get the quick shifter with the cost of the bike and not have to upgrade that, but that's always that way. I look at it as that's my part of keeping KTM, getting them back on their feet. And man, it just pulls out of the corner like crazy. And I do like how it feels on the street on these gravel roads and mild to moderate difficulty trails. But when it gets hard, yeah, this you need a lighter bike, in my opinion, like a two-stroke 300 or a 350 or 500 EXE, something like that. But if you want power, I mean, look at this thing. I mean, it just rips. Gravel roads, I just drop a gear. I mean, there's no more. I don't need more power. I just made a bug. I mean, look at this. It's ridiculous. And the brakes can stop you, which is awesome. Let's do a little straight open area here. On gravel roads. I mean, there's 60. A bit of a corner, feather through. I mean, it just cooks. And it feels very stable, even without a steering stabilizer. I mean, this is 70 miles an hour on gravel. And it does not feel sketchy. There's a few potholes. See, oh yeah, the back felt it. The back shock, the rear shock. The front forks felt pretty good. But the rear shock blew through the stroke pretty quick on that big pothole at 60, 70. Okay, well That was nice. That was good. Okay. Well, let's turn around and keep the fun going. See, like this is relatively smooth gravel in here, and I don't notice the rear shock at all unless I hit a pothole. The fenders, they're keeping most of the mud off me. See, I just went over a big pothole there and got the front end over, and the back shock felt okay. So I mean, the shock is workable. It isn't something that you would have to upgrade, but depending on how you ride the bike, you might need to. I hope that, I don't know if that makes sense. Is open where you can keep the bike moving, you'll do fine. It'll do great. And I think I could have gotten up that just with different tires, different inflation pressures, and even on a day like today, I think it would have worked. But you know, then knobbies aren't going to do as well on pavement, and you know, you start getting those compromises too. So there's 3,000 RPM, pulled out of the corner, good. But it does really sing when you start getting up around 4.5, 5,000 RPM. And I do like the brakes. This has the major things covered. Front forks, plenty of power with the engine, good brakes, a good chassis. I like the chassis. I like it a lot. I always missed my 690. I didn't talk about it much on the channel, but I always missed that bike. And part of it was the awesome suspension, the power, but it also was the chassis. I feel like the chassis on that bike just felt so good when I was on gravel roads on the highway. And this feels like it shares that chassis, or it's very, very similar, I'll say that. And the bike, if you start lugging at 2,000 RPM, it tells you to shift. It just kind of bogs a little bit. Just a summary, I love the 390 Enduro R. I love it on pavement, on gravel roads, on mild to moderate trails, but when it gets really technical, you start feeling the weight. I love the quick shifter. I love really pretty much everything about the bike. The rear shock would need some attention for maybe somebody if they're going to push the bike faster. If you're going to ride slower to moderate, you'll be okay. But it's an easy upgrade to pull that. And I do love the brakes. So this gets a lot of thumbs up. I love the LED headlights and blinkers. I love how easy it is to fill the coolant. I love the ergonomics of the bike. Tires are good for this purpose on pavement and gravel roads. So this bike gets a thumbs up. And everything with the most technical trails. On technical trails, you know, you start to feel the weight. But the weight helps.
All right, well, here we are back. I'll probably do another video where I'm on road. I ran out of battery power on the way back and really started cruising down the road. Was starting to feel comfortable with the bike, so I was able to pick the pace up on the pavement and the gravel roads and using the quick shifter. And man, this really does remind me of a mini 690 Enduro R. So I really like it. I could see keeping this a long time. I like that it has longer legs and power on the highway. It's not, you don't run out of legs when you're running down the highway. You're not running its neck, wringing its neck. The brakes are great. These brakes work really, really well. I'm super happy with them, and I like the exhaust. I didn't bash it on anything, even going down some single track stuff. Now, I suppose if I did the right log jump, I could. I'm not worried about submerging it because it's just going to bubble out as long as the intake's high enough. I like the looks of it. It looks the part of what it is. It looks like a bike that could do pavement, gravel, mild to moderate trails, and it can do that. You know, with different tires, could you do more technical stuff? I bet you could. I bet you could. But if the bike stops and you're having to get off and move it around, it's just going to get heavy. But it's very competent. I would drive this on the highway for many miles. The vibration to me I don't know, maybe I'm just not very attuned to that. I could live with the vibration. I could live with it. It doesn't seem, it noticed, I don't know, it just, especially just, it has these hard grips, which are fine, but even different grips would, I think, settle that down quite a bit. So anyway, there you have it. More information to come. I'm sure I'll fiddle with the suspension, maybe a rear shock. I'm sure eventually I'll try different tires and try different inflation pressures. So we're not done with this bike. I'll, you know, do some videos on oil changes, and I'll do, you know, I'm basically at 100 miles now. I'll do a 1,000-mile review, and, you know, just I'll get to know this bike a little better. The coverage of the fenders is good. I like that I didn't get all muddy, even though I was riding down muddy terrain. This is catching all the debris, which is kind of nice for what you're going to do on it. And I like the exhaust is low, because you could carry some baggage back here, some luggage, and you wouldn't have to worry about your exhaust. And it looks like you could add a rack back here very, very easily to me. All right, well, I will let you guys go for now. Thanks for tuning in, and stay tuned. More 390 Enduro R information to come, as well as some other bikes. I've got some things planned for the 300L back here. Anyway, with the suspension, as well as my friend's 2025 Honda 300L. So anyway, we'll talk to you soon. Be well, keep riding. You know, and I guess sometimes we talk about these bikes and all the different things as far as specs, and what matters is the fun factor, and the fun factor on this bike is high. I'm smiling, I'm relaxed. I came back from a ride fast enough to do what you want it to do, but not so fast to where you're probably going to kill yourself. Yeah, it was plenty of smiles for the cost of the vehicle. So yeah, I'd give it a thumbs up. And I like the fuel mapping in the off-road mode. Feels good. In the street mode, it feels soft. It has less torque in that mode, but in the off-road mode, they seem to have helped the fueling. And I didn't have any kickstand issues on this ride. I think this could be, maybe they fixed it. So anyway, great value, 2 thumbs up for this bike. All right, take care.